Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be another round 2 feature match, my online Discord tournament between Tannen on Dinosaurs and Master of Logic on Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc. So if you guys do want to play in the future versions of this tournament, as always, be sure to check out the link to the Discord server in the description box below. But let's go ahead and get started here without any further ado. So it looks like Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc did win the RPS, in fact, and they're going to choose to go first. So the opening hand for them is going to be Nerval, Tenki, Karos, Droll, and Barrier Satcher the Stormwinds. The hand definitely looks pretty strong, has a fair amount of Tri-Brigade cards to start off with, and has a hand trap if they were to go second. Always sucks to draw the Barrier Statue, but not a big deal in this kind of case where you open pretty well. And then the opening hand for Dino going second is going to be Droll, Ash, Fossil Dig, Giant Rex, and Baby. So this hand's also quite strong, has 2 hand traps of their own, and has their full combo, be it Misk Baby or OV Baby, depending on how they want to sequence. So definitely solid from both players. So the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc player is going to start off with a copy of Tenki. That's going to grab a copy of Fractal to hand. And then from here, Tannen's going to drop Droll. Not really too shocking. We'll see how this actually affects the combo since it does cut off Nerval access. Or rather, Nerval searching. Going to activate Fractal, that's going to send a copy of Kit to the graveyard from the deck, and then that's going to send a copy of Rendezvous. And then from here, they're going to normal summon the Nerval, and then use the effect on the field, that's going to banish 2, and then summon a copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle. So this is a card that I haven't seen in quite some time, actually since back when Lunalight was teching this card. Rest in peace, that deck, by the way. But this card reads, you can only special summon Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Eagle once per turn. You can activate Fire Fist monster's effect without sending Fire Fist or Fire Formation cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. You can target 1 Fire Formation spell or trap you control or in your grave, return it to the hand, and then send 1 Fire Fist monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Eagle once per turn. So this is the one that allows you to send your extender, and then because of its effect to basically allow you to mitigate costs, you get a free body. So you'll see this in just a second. So Eagle will go ahead and bounce Tenki, which is nice for next turn. That's going to send Buffalo to the graveyard. And then because you don't have to send any of your Fire Formation cards, you can actually activate Buffalo for free, basically. So that's pretty cool. So Buffalo gets to summon itself back, because it was in the graveyard, of course. And then those two are going to make a copy of the Farid. And yeah, Tannen is kind of unfamiliar with this card, but not a lot of people have read this. So yeah, Eagle makes so you don't have to actually pay the costs, which is cool. But yeah, Farid is going to activate to summon the Karos from hand. And then that is going to activate, banishing 2 more to summon the Ancient Warriors Link monster. And then the Nerval and the Baron Blossom are both going to be linked away for the Simoric link. And then in the end phase, going to attempt to activate it, and then that's going to get ashed for sure. And then going to pass. For turning the top deck is going to be, wow, Siphon Gear Gamma, so even more hand traps. This is looking quite strong. But Droll is going to be decent here as well. Gonna activate Fossil Dig to start off. That's going to grab Miscellaneous Source. Oh, actually, the Gamma is going to be a good answer to Droll here. Oh, feels bad. Off the top. Yeah, Droll going to be activated, and then going to chain Gamma. And this is looking to be Dino's game from this point. Going to go and activate Miscellaneous Source. That is going to then activate its Graveyard effect to grab Archosaur from the deck. And then Animadorn is going to pop Baby, grab Pill. And then Baby gets a trigger. That's going to summon Overraptor from deck. And then Overraptor activates to grab Baby Ceratosaurus. And then they are going to Synchro Summon or Link Summon. Let's see. Gonna go for Omega. And then Omega effect is going to banish a random card from hand. Let's see what they hit. Looks like they're gonna hit the Barrier Statue. So they know the last card is Tenki. Gonna normal summon the Baby next. And then Overraptor gonna pop the Baby to summon back the other Baby, presumably. Can't be the same one, otherwise the Baby won't be able to trigger, but for DB's sake, you know, those kinds of things can be a little cumbersome. But Baby summons that Misk, and then going to... Oh, I think that was a misclick. Yeah. Gonna link away the Archosaur into Linkuriboh, and then Secure Gardener. And then going to activate Evil Pill, banishing the Giant Rex from hand, and then Gamma from graveyard. And that's gonna summon out the Conductor. And then Rex can come back. Oh, looks like they forgot about Giant Rex. It's probably not going to matter, to be honest, but yeah, definitely don't want to be forgetting that. But yeah, I think he was doing math. But Dulka going to hit the board, and then Battle Phase going to attack. Going to attempt to activate the Ancient Warriors Link monster, but just gonna negate it via Dolka. Yeah, Misk is just insane. Going to go for UCT, attack into the Simorg Link for 1100, and then going to attack into the Karos for another 1000, and this is going to be 2k and then 23. So because the Rex can't attack directly, I don't think it made a difference here. I'm pretty sure it didn't make a difference. But yeah, it's not going to be game just yet. However, this is a very, very nasty board setup. For turn, the top deck is going to be Hcabe. That is not bad, but it's not going to be that good into this current board. They're going to start with a copy of Tenki. That's going to grab a Fractal from deck to hand. And then from here, looks like they're thinking, going to go for Fractal, normal summon, and then going to activate the effect that's going to banish 4, and then going to chain Dolka in response. And that's going to be in game 1. So moving to game 2, looks like we're going to have the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc player go first again. If you guys are enjoying this video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand for Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc going first this time around is going to be Tenki, Hcabe, Joel, Karos, and Fractal. Pretty similar to the last hand, except has double Fractal effectively instead of the Nerval. But definitely is a good hand. Has Joel again. And then the opening hand for Dino is going to be Fossil Dig, Misk, Gamma, Prosperity, and Joel. Both players open Joel both games, by the way. That's pretty funny. But that might be a bit of a problem here again. We'll see. Because if Eltana can hold on to Gamma, it's going to be the same thing where, you know, the Joel gets Gamma'd. So they're going to start with a copy of Fire Formation Tenki. That's going to grab a copy of Fractal from deck to hand. And then they're going to activate Joel and Resolution. Probably worth considering just not using Tenki first if you're trying to play around Joel. But regardless, we're going to activate Fractal, sending Kit. And then Kit gets a trigger that's going to send Nerval, actually. So deviating a little bit this time around. Going to activate Karos, that's going to pitch the other Fractal, summoning itself. And then going to use Karos, it's going to banish 2 for the Eagle. And then Eagle going to bounce the Tenki, that's going to send Buffalo. And then Buffalo gets to reborn itself. And then all those are going to be linked away for Appaloosa. Definitely not bad. Then going to normal summon Hcabe, and then going to target Nerval. So what's interesting with like Appaloosa versus Gamma is that you might as well like activate Gamma. Well, it kind of depends. I shouldn't say that as a blanket statement, but in some scenarios, it's worth it to just try and Gamma to force the Appaloosa negations. Like if you can hit critical choke points multiple times throughout, you know, their turn, because Gamma's not once per turn, you can just burn through the Appaloosa negations, and that can be effective sometimes. Of course, it depends on if they actually need stuff like this to resolve. But anyways, Hcabe is going to bring back the Nerval, and then Nerval is going to activate. That's going to banish, looks like 3 to bring out the Simorg Link, and then going to link the Nerval into a Link Rebo, and then going to end main phase 1. Kinka going to bounce itself back to the hand because it is a spirit monster, of course, and then Simorg gets to activate. And then going to chain Gamma, and then going to chain Appaloosa. So then Barrier Statue hits the board, and now Gamma is turned off. So that's going to be a pass. Pretty solid. Has 2 negations, the Statue of the Storm Winds, the Simorg, which pretty much always has to be answered. If you don't, it's going to be pretty tough to come back from. And then Droll as well. So pretty solid setup. The top deck is going to be Lost World for the Dino player, which is not great since it is an Earth token. And you are the one special summoning it to your opponent's field. So they're going to start with a copy of Fossil Dig. That's going to grab a Oviraptor from deck to hand. And then going to activate Draw and Resolution. And then going to attempt Gamma even though the statue is on the field. So that is, not a legal activation there. They're going to activate Lost World and then normal summon the Oviraptor. And then activate Oviraptor effect. That's going to be negated by Appaloosa. And then going to go to battle phase, trying to attack over the Storm Winds. But of course, Link Rebo's there to make the Oviraptor 0. And then going to pass. End phase, Simorg going to activate. And this is where the deck really has a good follow-up play. Grabbing Cobalt Sparrow, and that's going to search for a copy of DD Crow, which is good in this matchup as well, incidentally. Going to draw Lancia for turn, so even more hand traps. Plus the Tenki that was bounced back, so this is a lot of follow-ups. Very, very good stuff. Going to normal summon the Hcabe, that effect is going to bring back the Nerval. And then gonna overlay the the Kinkabio and the Cobalt Sparrow for a Recital Starling. Gonna use that effect to actually boost the Stormwinds, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, that was. So it's actually on 11 because of the Lost World, but it gained 600. Oh yeah, they pointed it out. But yeah, Recital Starling gonna search for another copy of Nerval here. And then Nerval is going to activate its on-field effect. That's going to banish 2 to summon out the Ancient Warriors Link, which also is wind, so that's nice to work under the barrier statue here. And then going to activate Tenki, that's going to grab a Fractal from deck to hand. And yeah, this is going to be a concession there from Dinos. So series is now tied up 1-1 apiece. Pretty good matchup so far. So let's go into game number 3. Looks like Dinosaur is going to start things off this time around. And before we get into game 3 here, just want to quickly shout out my patrons as usual. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. The long form and consistent content is made possible thanks to you guys. If you are interested in supporting the Patreon, definitely go ahead and check that out in the description box below as usual. But the opening hand for Dino game 3 going first is going to be Lost World, Prosperity, Baby, Gamma, and Misk. So yeah, this is about as much as you can ask for. Not much to say about this hand. And then the opening hand for Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc is going to be Dark Ruler, Nerval, Ash, Cobalt Sparrow, and Droll. So both players, again, opening up quite strong. Multiple hand traps, Droll all 3 games, actually. And it goes second card, and then some combo pieces. Not the best ones just by themselves, but it's not horrible. Actually, I think I'm not super well versed in this deck. I think this hand actually kind of needs another card to really get going. But it has potential to be quite strong. But anyways, Dino is going to start up activating Prosperity. Going to pay the cost. Going to banish 6. And then going to excavate. Playing Instant Fusion, notably. Let's actually see what was banished as well. Baguska, Access Code, Unicorn, Reprodocus, Simorg. So they're actually also on the Barrier Statue combo. And then the Dolka as well. So from those 6, you're going to actually pick up an Instant Fusion, which is good against a lot of hand traps, but not when you pick it up off Prosperity versus Troll specifically, because that's going to come down. But Gamma is here to answer it, just like game 1. So Gamma going to be activated in response to Droll. Is it worth ashing here? We'll see if they fight over this. Yeah, so they're going to ash the Gamma in response, so Droll will resolve. Definitely not bad. So that's going to force the Dino player to think a little bit. Going to activate Lost World and just pass. Fair enough. For turn, they're going to draw a copy of Rendezvous. That is probably the worst card in the deck to draw. Yeah, that is not good. Let's actually see what the play is going to be. I'm curious. Going to go for Nerval, normal summon, and then go into Link Rebo. Nerval is going to trigger to add Kairos. Right, yeah, of course. They can add Kairos and then go for a summon of Kairos for pitching the Cobalt Sparrow. I watched all these replays that I'm about to feature, or like every replay that gets featured, I watch in advance. But yeah, I watched these quite some time ago, so I don't entirely remember what happened. But yeah, Kairos is going to be added off the Nerval here, and then from this point, going to be thinking. Looks like they're going to activate Kairos. That's going to pitch the Cobalt Sparrow and then summon itself to the field. And Kairos is going to activate here. That's going to banish 2, and then they're going to chain Gamma in response. Yeah, definitely. There wasn't a great way around the Gamma. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the tricky part. Because, like, if you let the Gamma resolve against Droll, then you probably lose. I mean, you could save the Ash for the Misk in that case. I mean, if they Omega rip it out of your hand, though, then it's just really sad. So, it's kind of a catch-22. It's a tough call to make. Curious as to whether you guys would have used the Ash on the Gamma, would have saved it. But regardless, we're going to see a set Rendezvous. So this is looking to be Dino's game for sure. End phase, the Cypherms get banished. For turn, the top deck was, I believe that was a Fossil Dig. I didn't quite see. Yeah, it was a Fossil Dig here. So not bad. Going to activate Instant Fusion to start things off. That, of course, was grabbed off the Prosperity last turn to summon up Millenniumize Restrict. That actually does also counter the Link Rebo, because this is on attack declaration, not on the damage step, so that's quite good. Fossil Dig to add Overraptor comes down next, and from here we have the gang's all here. Gonna go for Overraptor as well as Lost World, going to generate a token to the opponent's board, adding UCT straight up from deck to hand, and then going to activate Miscellaneous Sources hand effect, and then use the Graveyard effect that is going to summon out the Archosaur from deck, and then use Arch to pitch, or rather destroy Baby, and then add Pill to hand, and then Baby triggers as well, going to summon out another Baby, and then Overraptor going to pop it to summon the other one back, and then Baby triggers for Misk, and then going to be thinking here, looks like, going to link for a Linkuriboh of their own, and then going to go into Secure Gardena, overlay for Tornado Dragon, actually respecting the back row here. It's a dead Rendezvous. Bird Up typically doesn't tend to set a lot of back row, so I probably would have been maybe more worried about like the random unknown card that could have been a hand trap personally. But I think that respecting the back row could also be okay if they're on maybe things like... Actually, I was going to say Imperm, but there's the Last World Token as well, so not really sure what back row they're specifically trying to play around here. But regardless, I mean, there's no interaction, so it's going to be game anyways. I'm going to banish 2 for a copy of UCT, and then activating Pill for another UCT, and then going to end main phase 1. Battle phase, they're going to go Secure Gardena into the token, and then going to Tornado Dragon, attack into the Linkuriboh, going to activate Restrict. Restrict, equips it here. Yeah, so just a little bit of confusion on how it works. But yeah, it wasn't going to matter anyways. Oh, and the top deck would have been the Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. So yeah, definitely was beyond the end of the game. Actually, I'm not sure if it was... Oh no, it was lethal because it was going to be 7k plus the Tornado Dragon at 21. So yeah, pretty good stuff here from both players. I think that the abundance of hand traps was quite good to see in matchups like these where you would really like to draw them to hinder your opponent. We got to see a battle of trying to get Droll to resolve. And yeah, it's funny because I think, actually, remember the chat, they were talking a little bit at the end. Yeah, 3 Gamma in a row for Eltanin, and then 3 Droll in a row for Master of Logic. So kind of crazy. DB Shuffler is pretty whack sometimes. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.